So here we go. Juju Reese wins the tip. Dante Scott takes it, and we are underway here in College Park. Don Carey passes it to Reese. Hart lobs it forward toward Dante Scott. Scott quickly in trouble, defended by Tyler Harris. Jackson applying the pressure. Back it goes. Jameer Young drives in, puts it up from the elbow. Won't go, and a nice rebound by Vontarius Woolbright, one of the key returners on this team. Russell Jones Jr. at the top of the key, played at Winthrop before, and a great defender. Maryland's defense not letting Western Carolina get much going. They swing it to Tyler Harris for the three, and it's offline. Dante Scott gives it to Hart. Hakeem Hart, along with Dante Scott, the big seniors on this team who have been here the last 4 years. Driving into the paint as Jameer Young puts it in. First points of the day.
Yeah, and there you see the patience that the veteran presence of Jameer Young brings you. Backs down his defender, gets to his spot, and puts up a nice floater.
Coach Willard said that the graduate transfer is really taking a leadership role as the team's point guard and really starting to find his vocal voice with this team. Jameer Young played 3 seasons at Charlotte, and now the DeMatha alum is back in the D.C. area in College Park. Driving into the paint, Claude puts it up and rebounded by Scott. Scott now pushing up the floor. Russell Jones Jr. defending Young, gets around the screen, now passes it inside. Nicely done by Julian Reese.
There's that veteran presence, Jameer Young again, patient in the lane, finds Julian Reese for an easy layup.
Here's Woolbright. Woolbright led the team with 104 assists as a junior. Now the Albany, Georgia native in his senior year with the Catamounts. Previously played at Lawson State Community College in Alabama. Driving into the paint is Tyjon Claude, and the foul ends up being called.
I believe they're calling a travel. It's going to be a turnover headed towards the Terps, but here's Jameer Young finding his way in the lane. A little pocket pass to the rolling Julian Reese, but it's really been the Maryland defense these first 2.5 minutes, just stifling the Catamounts.
Not even letting them really drive into the paint. Now Dante Scott and the Terrapins offense looking to cash in again. Reese, top of the key, gives it to Jameer Young. Young driving into the paint. Western Carolina defenders clogging it up, and the foul ends up being called.
Yeah, Jameer Young going against the 5'8" Russell Jones Jr. Just using a bit of his size. We're not going to say that much that year with Jameer Young, but using his size to his ability to back down his defender and draw the foul.
And Russell Jones Jr. definitely the strongest defender on this Western Carolina team. He had 5 steals against Georgia, and a season ago at Winthrop recorded 30. Pass down low, trying to back in Claude, and once again Julian Reese gets by him. Second bucket for Reese.
Yeah, look at Julian Reese. Little spin to the basket, making it too easy. Kevin Willard said Julian Reese was one guy that surprised him this offseason, said his ceiling is as high as any guy I've coached. But he did also say that this is basically a freshman year for Julian Reese. He had a tough time with COVID his senior year of high school. Last year wasn't exactly in the greatest situation here at Maryland. So Kevin Willard's treating this as Julian Reese's freshman season.
And he said that he's looking for him to be more physical down low, and we're seeing him doing that already.
And you can tell just by looking at his body, he's put on maybe 10, 15 pounds of muscle. He looks like a much stronger player than we saw last year.
So quickly, 6-0 Maryland, 3 minutes in. Vontarius Woolbright going to try and drive in. A nice bounce pass to Tyjon Claude is going to get the Catamounts on the board.
Yeah, good play. Not great communication from Terps on the defensive end, not tracking the roller.
Reese up top, and then off the ball, foul ends up being called. Hakeem Hart not happy.
Yeah, and here you saw Dante Scott slide to try and bring the double team, but Claude just finds himself right at the basket and goes up and throws it down.
Tyjon Claude, the 6'8" forward, the big man on this Catamounts team, went 8 of 16 from the field as he led them with 18 points on Monday night. So the foul called that time against Jones.
It's his second foul of the game, less than 4 minutes in.
Jameer Young's going to try the three just off the inbound. Offline, and a nice rebound from Woolbright. Pushing it across the floor, go the Catamounts. Trey Jackson from deep, no good. Don Carey tries to corral the board, but the ball hops out of bounds.
Yeah, not great transition defense there from the Terps. Failed to get back and kicked it out for a transition three. And you expect Jackson to make that one 10 times out of 10 wide open, and then Don Carey just could not secure the rebound.
Trey Jackson had 17, the next closest to Tyjon Claude on Monday. Coach Willard said that watching tape, Jackson looked like an absolute sniper.
Yeah, he's really a guy who you give him the green light from anywhere with any space. He can pull up from inside the half-court line anywhere.
Previously spent 3 seasons with the Iowa State Cyclones. Woolbright passes it to Claude. Claude trying to back down Reese. 3 Terps in the paint as he gets the ball out. Saved by Jackson. Catamounts swing it along the perimeter. Woolbright kicks it out. Tyler Harris, not much to find. 3 seconds to shoot. To beat the clock, Claude won't go, and Reese gets the board.
And here come the Terps quick. This is something that they did all the time against Niagara, getting the ball off the floor very quickly.
And this time it's going to go straight down low. Julian Reese unable to put it in, but Hakeem Hart with the steal gets by Harris. And so we have reached the under 16 timeout. Maryland leading. So Western Carolina has the ball to start this off, pushing it down the court. Maryland's offense pressing. Woolbright trying the three is Trey Jackson, and he knocks it down.
There's that sniper that Kevin Willard was talking about.
Maryland quickly the other way. Ian Martinez has checked into the game. Gives it to Jameer Young. Young driving into the paint, trying to get by Campbell. Misses it, rebounded, back up. The foul is called.
And that's the 3rd or 4th time already. We've seen Julian Reese very active on the offensive glass. And here's Trey Jackson. We said he can get it from anywhere, and he really can. That's way too much space for him to pull this one off.
Trey Jackson doing a lot of shooting in the early goings of this one, but he did a lot of assisting in the last game, recording a team-high 6 assists in the game against Georgia. So Julian Reese goes to the free throw line. He had 7 points on Monday night. And the Baltimore native sinks the first.
Yeah, 7 points to go along with 7 rebounds, which Kevin Willard said, as I brought up, that's good for a freshman because he is treating him as a freshman, and he was plus, I believe, 18 on the floor, which is excellent.
Reese sinks them both. He's up to, he has 6 of these 8 points for the Terps. Pushing up the floor, Woolbright. Defended closely by Jameer Young. Around the screen by Granger. Swings it across. Pelote's 3 won't go. Carey gets the board. Carey passes it down low. Reese trying to get by Pelote. He goes with the backhanded layup and knocks it down.
Yeah, that's 6 points for Julian Reese already in this game. Kevin Willard wanted to emphasize that he wanted to get him touches, and that's happening so far.
Driving in, Campbell puts it up. The floater is good for DJ Campbell, the freshman from Hampton, Virginia.
Just too strong for Donald Carey there.
Ian Martinez in his 2nd year with the Terps after transferring from Utah. Carey gives it to Jameer Young. Martinez to Reese. Martinez trying to get toward the basket. Reese trying to save it, but it ends up knocking off of Granger and out of bounds.
Yeah, Terps looking to get Julian Reese involved early and often. And here it's just Julian Reese saying, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm better with my feet. I'm going to go up and get this bucket.
So Terps by 3. Jameer Young will trigger. Guess it's a Hart. Hart tries the 3, won't go. Rebounded by Granger. Pelot's going to try and drive by Julian Reese and Hakeem Hart. The foul was called. Willard not happy.
I think he's not happy with a foul call down here, as it looked like a Western Carolina player just ran straight through a Julian Reese screen. And Julian Reese fell hard, so Kevin Willard probably asking the refs why a foul wasn't called down here.
So nonetheless, it will send Bernard Pelot to the charity stripe, the Savannah, Georgia native in his sophomore year. And he misses the first. He's a third-team All-South Atlantic Conference member, and he played 2 seasons at Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Standing
really.
at 6'8".
Yeah, the big presence inside for the Catamounts.
Second free throw is good.
I just have to say, Shane, this crowd behind us is deafening.
Especially, I mean, considering an early season game, the students continuing to show up in College Park. Jameer Young gives it to Patrick Emilian. Hakeem Hart with the drive. Foul was called as he was trying to get around Woolbright, and there was some contact.
Yeah, good strong drive from Hakeem Hart, as it looks like we're going to see Jahari Long come into the game for Jameer Young.
So Jahari Long, who came to Maryland with Willard, and then on the other side, Tyler Harris, Tyjon Claude check back in. Jahari Long, a Houston, Texas native, played at Seton Hall. And he was saying that he always knew Houston Rockets 1976 #1 overall pick John Lucas. Made him always know this program, and when Coach Willard was going there, he had that trust in his coach at Seton Hall and followed him here, and he's been having a good time in College Park since. Scott puts it up, won't go. Nicely rebounded by Trey Jackson as the Catamounts try and push it. Trying to get around Martinez, he does. And then taken away, Jahari Long the other way. Long defended by DJ Campbell, puts it up over him and hits. And Jahari Long is on the board. Jackson trying to get by, but the foul called on Ian Martinez.
And here's that move from Jahari Long. Just really strong, getting to his spot in the middle of the lane and a little jump hook.
Jahari Long, the 6'5", 200-pound junior. And now here's DJ Campbell. Long steps up, defends him. Jackson thought about the 3, then drives in, kick out Tyler Harris. This 3 from Pelot, no dice.
And that's a big man rebound for Julian Reese right there, just to rip it away from Claude.
So Jahari Long playing that guard role on the offense now, and Julian Reese throws it down.
Just a great play overall from the Terps. Guard to big, just as easy as you'd like.
Easily done for the Terps there. Now Jackson, Emilian tried to steal it. Pelot drives down, and Reese again the rebound. Already 4 rebounds for Juju Reese today. Hart, a nice bounce pass to him, and his layup won't go. Terps lead by 6. Trey Jackson, the pass down low, trying to get by Reese, and the foul, the charge was called on Tyjon Claude. So the Terrapins looking to continue. Martinez tries to drive in against 2 defenders, but then the foul ends up being called on the way up.
Yeah, and Kevin Willard said everyone seems to rave about Ian Martinez's offensive game, and he finds that, quote-unquote, comical. He says that Ian Martinez is the best defensive player on this team, and he will draw the toughest assignment every night. And the offensive side of this game is what he needs to get going.
Martinez had 5 steals last game, a key part of this defense, and especially stepping into a bigger role this year in his second year with the program. His free throw is good on the first one.
And also important to note, the Catamounts with 7 fouls already. Maryland's going to be in the bonus the rest of this first half shooting free throws.
Colin Granger checks in for Western Carolina. Martinez's second free throw is good.
And here we see the 2-2-1 pressure from this Terrapins team.
Jahari Long applying it in the backcourt now. Across the timeline, DJ Campbell. Bounce pass toward Trey Jackson. Emilian defending him. They swing it to the corner. Harris gets by Emilian, then drives and throws it down.
Yeah, Emilian just gets caught jumping, and Harris says, whatever you give me, I'll take it all the way to the rack.
Martinez passes it, Jahari Long. He puts up the 3, and it's a bit too strong. Trying to corral the board, Western Carolina ends up doing that with Trey Jackson leading the charge up court, and that ball's gonna hop out of bounds. Colin Granger's shoe goes flying. And Maryland will gain possession. Jameer Young, Dante Scott back into the game, checking in for Long and Emilian.
Yeah, and here's that dunk from Harris. Just gets Emilian jumping and takes it baseline and throws it up with authority.
Just took flight when he realized he had the space. Nicely done.
And for all the positive things we're saying about Julian Reese and Maryland, this is still just a 6-point game. The Catamounts are very much so still in this.
Julian Reese, 10 of those 16 points for the Terps. DJ Campbell defended by Young. And he's being guarded closely, now swings it out. Harris, shot clock has expired. He didn't even realize, didn't even get the shot up. And the shot clock violation forces yet another turnover.
And again, you wonder what impact this crowd is having. The crowd's chanting about 4 or 5 seconds behind the shot clock, so it goes off on Harris.
He didn't even seem like he realized. He just tried to put it up well after the shot clock had expired. Nonetheless, it's the 5th turnover for the Catamounts today. The Terps yet to record with a single one. Julian Reese gives it to Scott. Trying to find carry down low, and the ball sails out of bounds. It will stay here.
Good idea from Hart, looking for carry on that backdoor cut. Not sure the space was there on that one, but the right idea.
Terps still retain possession, 17 to shoot. Hart floats it to Young. He finds Carey. Carey got by his defender, puts up the mid-range, no good. And securing the rebound is Marcus Kell, the freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina, on the other end. Dante Scott swats that against the rim, and the Terrapins in the other direction. Jameer Young on the break. Foul called as he was trying to get by Campbell, and Campbell called for the foul.
Dante Scott had a chase down block against Niagara, and this one is very similar. Just trying to get back there and times it to perfection and swats Granger's layup against the glass.
Dante Scott following that the whole way and then secures the chase down block. And now Jameer Young will try and convert the 2 points on the other end. Julian Reese has checked out of the game. So Carey, Hart, Emilian, Young, and Scott, the 5 for Kevin Willard right now. And he sinks both of them.
And again, this lets the Terps set up their full court pressure.
Maryland now 6 of 6 from the free throw line tonight. Trying to get around a screen from Granger. Loses the basketball. Emilian gets it to Dante Scott. Scott across the timeline. Jameer Young goes in. Scott tries to go back up. And the rebound pulled down. Colin Granger takes it. Bernard Pello leads the charge for the Catamounts, and then Marcus Kell loses the basketball.
Just a little bit of back and forth here, a little bit of a hectic hectic pace to the game now. Both teams trying to play really quick, and it was Hakeem Hart on this last play who was able to swat it away from Kell and get it off his thigh and get Maryland the basketball back.
Both teams starting to turn up the aggression at this point in the first half. Hakeem Hart has it. Being defended by Woolbright. Backing him down. Goes for the layup and knocks it off the glass and in. And the timeout called by the Catamounts, who now trail by 10 points. 7 overall today. And imagine the student section when that wall is all filled up later in the season. Western Carolina. Pellote passes it to Woolbright. Woolbright defended by Emilian. Driving into the paint. Puts it up. Won't go. The rebound, Granger trying to get it up, and then Hakeem Hart pulls it down. The Terrapins take it the other way. Don Carey pulls up with the 3, and it is offline. Maryland not too successful from downtown today, yet to make one. 0 of 4, Western Carolina, 1 of 5 from long range. Woolbright passes it. They get it back to him. Woolbright trying to drive. 5 to shoot. Kicks it back and now has to put up the long range 3. Pellote won't go. Jameer Young passes it to Dante Scott. He takes the 3 and it rims out. Here's Campbell. Campbell trying to drive in. Puts it up. It won't go. Nice rebound by Don Carey. Don Carey gets the rebound and then pulls up for the 3, and it won't go. So 2 quick misses for Carey on the last couple of possessions.
And we see the Catamounts slowing it down here. Don Carey trying for 2 basically transition 3s that don't go, and now the game's going to be slowed down a little bit.
Still a 10-point deficit. Campbell trying to get the Catamounts out of it. Granger looking for the screen, but Carey stays with Woolbright. Off the front of the rim, Woolbright grabs his own miss. On the perimeter, Bernard Pellote. Crowd starting to get into it a little bit. Driving in, it goes Granger, and that one misses. So that takes us to the under 8 media timeout. And the Long Island native spent a lot of time in the Northeast, and now, as soon as he's come down here to Maryland, he said he talked to Coach Gary Williams and other former Maryland coaches, and they told him the importance of learning the whole state. And he said that since he took this job, he's been traveling around the entire state of Maryland, getting to know Maryland fans everywhere, and has grown to love this fan base already. So here we go. Woolbright passes it to 3 offline from Marcus Kell. Ian Martinez. Pass to Reese. Reese trying to get it, and Western Carolina takes it away. Maryland has not scored in the last 2.5 minutes. The Catamounts have not scored in the last nearly 5. Trying to change that right here, and he will. Vontarius Woolbright with the layup. Woolbright, his first points of the day. On the other end, Ike Cornish in the game now for the Terrapins, who Coach Willard said has been battling. He got hurt in the scrimmage against Villanova and has missed 4 days of practice and is now starting to get back into the swing of things after not playing last year.
Yeah, said he got hurt really at the worst time possible. Missed that last scrimmage with the groin injury. Now has just been working himself back up to play some minutes.
And could be seeing him play a key role on this defense, the redshirt freshman from Baltimore.
Yeah, the consensus 4-star recruit last year grew up playing with Jalen Smith and Daryl Morcell in the city of Baltimore. So if those are 2 names that you want to come after, you got to live up to it.
Ike Cornish was a big name when Maryland got him and signed him, and didn't get to see him at all last year, and we'll be seeing him soon this year. Woolbright puts it up off the rim, rebounded by Bernard Pellote. 20-12. Vontarius Woolbright as Marlo Gilmore comes up for a screen. They swing it to Trey Jackson. Martinez with his hand in his face. And then a mess for a second as the ball ends up back with the Catamounts. Ian Martinez on the defense, and then the foul ends up being called, the charge against Marlo Gilmore, and the Terrapins get it back. Don Carey, Jameer Young check back into the game.
I think they're going to get Gilmore for a moving screen here, and just unfortunate because the Catamounts had a good possession going, had a couple offensive boards, hadn't gotten their points yet, but this is still just an 8-point game, a very defensive affair thus far tonight.
And 8 turnovers for Western Carolina at this point, a big reason why Maryland's been able to be hanging on to a lead for most of this ball game. Jameer Young drives to the paint, puts it up, and puts it in. Jameer Young, 6 points. And that snaps the scoring drought.
Second time we've seen him get to that spot in the middle of the lane and put up a left-handed floater.
It's been nearly 4 minutes since Maryland had a basket. Jameer Young, 2 of 6 from the field. Don Carey on the defense. Here's Woolbright driving in. The foul's called on the way up. It's a foul called against Ike Cornish.
Yeah, just a little bit of a reach from the redshirt freshman. Tries to slide over here and gets some of the ball, but gets most of the man.
So Western Carolina will take it underneath. Gets it to Woolbright. Cornish defending him. Harris. Trying to drive by Ike Cornish. And Patrick Emilian swats that away. What a block from the Toronto native and Western Michigan transfer.
Yeah, Emilian doing a really good job here of just sliding over with the help defense and swats that into the second row here in the Xfinity Center.
Quick bounce pass in. Gilmore ends up with it, but it nearly ended up the other way, and now it will. As the foul called again on Gilmore.
And another moving screen. Coach Gray will not be happy with him as it looks like he's going to sub him out here.
And Maryland has been capitalizing on the fouls that result in free throws. Maryland 6 of 6 from the stripe. As the Catamounts now 9 turnovers. Jameer Young drives into the paint, puts it up, and it rims out. Catamounts work quickly the other way, but a lot of white jerseys in the paint. Campbell trying to get by them. Trey Jackson was coming around looking for a 3, then Woolbright in the paint. They do get it out to Jackson. He tries the 3, and it's off the mark. Just under 4 to play in half number 1. Dante Scott gives it to Emilian. The 3 from Ike Cornish is an air ball. Maryland continuing to not find success from long range, 0 of 7 from 3. Just 1 of 9 for the Catamounts, so both teams continuing to take them. Jameer Young again guarding Campbell. Emilian on him. They swing it out. Tyler Harris trying to get by Ike Cornish. Carey tried to poke it away. Puts it up with his right hand, and it's no good. Cornish tries a 3 here. It's short. Another missed 3 for the Terrapins. Cornish over 2.
Hey, but good to see him not lose his confidence after that air ball. As a coach, that's what you want to see. You want to see him have confidence in his shot and keep shooting the ball.
And it's a matter of time before some of those start to fall. Trey Jackson, top of the key. Colin Granger, defended by Emilian. Here's Woolbright, 3 to shoot. 2 seconds, puts up the 3, and it's off the back of the rim. Here's Don Carey. Just got to get by Granger. Emilian was a half step in front of Tyler Harris before the foul is called. And that's a foul on Tyler Harris. And that takes us to our next media timeout. So Noah Batchelor on the floor for the Terps, the freshman from Frederick, Maryland, as Patrick Emilian at the free throw line misses his first.
And you see the unorthodox shooting style of Patrick Emilian, brings it way behind his head, straight up over it.
Yeah, brings it right above his head and then releases it. Interesting form there from Emilian, but it works for him on the second, and the Terps lead by 11. DJ Campbell, defended by Jameer Young. Just over 2 minutes to play. Campbell drives to the rim and loses it underneath the backboard.
Yeah, another block from Emilian, a monster one at that.
Patrick Emilian goes on the other end and misses, can't convert that one. Emilian almost did it on both ends. And now the three off the mark. Bernard Pellote tried it again. He's 0 of 4 from downtown tonight. Young's gonna try and take it himself, trying to get by Campbell. Goes for the reverse layup and seals it. Jameer Young up to 8 points tonight.
And Jameer Young, not as fast as Maryland's previous point guards and Anthony Cowan and Fast Russell, but is explosive. He has that really quick first step that'll blow by you.
He saw DJ Campbell right in front of him, knew he could get by him, and did it, and then knocked down the reverse layup also. Gets Batchelor to go flying before Tyler Harris knocks down the three. An effective fake there from the senior.
Yeah, and that's how the Catamounts have been getting their points, is when Maryland is biting on these pump fakes on the three-pointer, they get the Terps in the air and just either drive or nail the open three.
Just the second three-pointer in 12 attempts for the Catamounts today. Into the paint goes Jameer Young. The shot goes in, the foul is called, and a chance for a three-point play.
A little bit of a Jameer Young takeover in this last minute, as we're going to see the drive from Campbell and the monster block from Emilian just swats it away. And here's Jameer Young this time, sees the body, draws the contact, and finishes the easy and one.
Jameer Young in double figures now as well, along with Reese. His free throw gives him 11 points on the night.
Also important to note, we're less than a minute left in this first half, and Dante Scott, who had 18 for the Terps on Monday, does not have a point tonight, only attempted 3 shots.
And now here comes Maryland on the other end. Hakeem Hart leading the way off the glass and good. 30 points for the Terps and double the number of Western Carolina right now. .36 left. Jackson against Carey. Here's Jackson. Jackson drives, gives it to Granger, who puts it up. No, won't go. 10 seconds left. Carey gets to Hart. The other way, Hart puts it in. Hakeem Hart has another 2 points. On the other end, the attempt from Jackson at the buzzer. And that is how the first half comes to a close. Absolutely, and Scott still did play 16 minutes and 26 seconds, the most of any Terrapin in the first half. So here we go, second half time here in College Park. Vontarius Woolbright for Western Carolina as the teams have switched sides. Ty Jean-Claude underneath gets it up above Dante Scott. Scott driving against Tyler Harris. Hanging onto the basketball, and eventually the foul called against Harris.
And you saw the clear out there for Dante Scott, just isolating him there on the wing, but a good first possession for the Catamounts as well, as it was Woolbright finding Claude on the inside, who does good patience and goes up for the layup.
The big man, Claude, 6'8", able to get over Dante Scott. Jameer Young trying to get around Trey Jackson. Gives it to Young. It's up, and it won't go. Young back up. Reese tried to get it, but it ends up in the hands of Harris.
And we saw that a couple times from Jameer Young on Monday night against Niagara. He's able to get that second hop really quickly and get some of these offensive rebounds.
So Russell Jones Jr. has it, being defended by Don Carey. Gets around Reese. The swing out. The three from Trey Jackson is off the line. Corralled by Claude. Woolbright driving, trying to get past Reese. He swings it out to Harris. Russell Jones Jr., the 5'8" guard, tries the three, and it's off the mark. Rebounded by Claude, who puts it back in, 32-19.
And those shots that don't hit the rim are often the hardest to rebound, and Julian Reese just got caught in the wrong position. An easy bucket for Claude.
So here's Dante Scott. He gives it to Reese. Don Carey has it, and just before that, the officials signaling for a Western Carolina foul. So Maryland will take it underneath. Already a couple of team fouls in this second half for the Catamounts. And fouls was another big problem for them in that first half, Josh.
Yeah, got into the bonus early, the Terps did, and capitalized on their free throws.
Hakeem Hart puts up the long-range shot, and it's no good yet again. Here's Russell Jones Jr. Jones tries to use his speed to get by Scott. Now Scott and Reese down low, backing in Claude, and Julian Reese ends up being the bigger man.
That's better defense from Julian Reese there. It just stands straight up and makes it hard for Claude to get up and over him.
Nice move by Jameer Young, and then he capitalizes on the mid-range.
Just buttery smooth from Jameer Young there. Spins around the screen, pulls up from the elbow, easy J for the graduate student.
So here's Woolbright. The drive. And a nice takeaway by Don Carey. Hakeem Hart in front. Carey's going to take it himself. Scott pulls down the miss. Couple of Catamount defenders around, but Scott doesn't care. He goes right up and nails the two-pointer.
Yeah, his first points of the night. You can kind of tell once Dante Scott grabbed that rebound, he was not going to let it go, and he was going right up with it.
So finally on the board is the Terps senior, Dante Scott, 6'8", 230 pounds out of Philly. Russell Jones Jr. gives it up. Driving into the paint is Vontarius Woolbright, and he puts it in. Woolbright, 4 points, the second bucket in 7 attempts. Hart was going in, and the foul ends up being called on Vontarius Woolbright.
Yeah, and here's good defense from the Terps. Don Carey pushing the ball, decides to go with it himself, just missed it, and Dante Scott grabs that rebound, and you see him clear out some space, get his man up in the air, and go right up with it.
And a nice move by him, considering how strong the defense was right in front. Still finds the little avenue, goes up, gets it to 2 points. Dante Scott looking for 3 of them, and the shot won't go. Julian Reese, a great rebound and putback. Julian Reese was down there, rebounds it, and quickly goes back up and in.
It's a big man rebound from Julian Reese, using that big wingspan of his to go up and get the ball and say, this is mine, I'm going to get it.
As Dante Scott was looking for 3. Jones gives it to Harris. Maryland, a lot of defense at the perimeter. Jones drives, nothing doing, and he loses the basketball as he tried to pass it, and Dante Scott was right there to receive it. Hakeem Hart, the 3, knocks it down and then points up, and at the student section who celebrates, Maryland finally connects from downtown and opens a 20-point lead against the Catamounts.
Yeah, Hakeem Hart, number 1-3, getting the first 3 of the night for the Terps. Maryland up 20 here in the Xfinity Center. Well, finding his elbow jumper well, just really has everything going for him tonight, and just looks smooth and comfortable with everything.
And particularly of late, since that end of the first half, beginning of the second, he has been the best player on the floor. And
yes,
now he ends up with the basketball, taking it the other way. Hakeem Hart gives it to Scott, and the foul ended up being called. The charge is going to give the Catamounts back the ball.
Yeah, Hakeem Hart just putting down his shoulder and driving to the bucket here, and a good job by Jones, sliding over, getting his body in position. Maybe 5'8", but he's willing to take some contact.
Russell Jones Jr., a very effective player in this Western Carolina lineup, and that takes us to another timeout as we continue with this season. Woolbright starting it off for Western Carolina. Gets around the screen, feeds to Claude down low off the screen. Nothing to do as Reese was ready for it. Trey Jackson after the kick out, won't go. Woolbright corrals it, tries to go up, and it's Maryland's basketball.
Just suffocating defense from the Terps down low there.
Not letting anything happen as the Catamounts had several different attempts as you take a look here, and Maryland's defenders just in the right places at the right times. The three-point attempt from Don Carey misses. 1 of 12 from 3, and yet the Terrapins still a 20-point advantage. Woolbright driving against Hakeem Hart. Swing out, Pello, the 3, too strong. Dante Scott tries the 3 again, and that time it won't go. But still the confidence. Russell Jones Jr. walks up, pulls up, knocks it down. Russell Jones Jr., his first points of the day, has the second three-pointer, or third three-pointer for the Catamounts.
Yeah, just no Terps defender stepping up, and Jones Jr. says, thank you very much, I'll take you what you're giving me.
And probably the only time he'd be able to knock one down just because the size of nothing else is Jameer Young records another and one.
Yeah, just saying, you score 3 points, I'll try and get him right back here. As here we see Jones Jr. in transition, just nobody steps up. Says thank you very much, bottoms up in College Park, and Jameer Young getting through the lane, drawing contact, going for the and one, looking to finish the three-point play the old-fashioned way at the free throw line.
So as Young goes to the stripe, Patrick Emelian, Ian Martinez are back on the floor for Kevin Willard's squad. Young converts the three-point play. He is up to 16 points on the night. That leads all scorers. Russell Jones Jr. around the screen from Tyjon Claude. Bernard Pello swings it around. Jackson drives into the paint. Claude puts it up with Scott's arm in his face and misses. Young, a left-handed, one-handed fire over to Martinez, and then the ball ends up loose and in the hands of Trey Jackson, who goes up, and the foul is called on Dante Scott. And so that will put him at the free throw line. First foul against Scott.
Yeah, you can tell Dante Scott chasing this one down, trying to make up for it, looking for another chase down block, but Jackson sees him coming, goes into the body, and draws the contact.
Nicely done by Trey Jackson. Scott, almost like not much you could do there. He's standing there, and they're going to call that every time. So Trey Jackson heads to the charity stripe. The senior out of Columbia, South Carolina, transferred from Iowa State.
Iowa State making a deep run in the NCAA tournament last year, so even more so a reason to get a guy like Jackson into your program.
And had an immediate impact in the last game, scoring 17. But talking about how this Western Carolina team, 12 out of the 16 members on the roster are transfers. You know, this is Coach Gray's second year there, and Coach Willard said about this team, watching them, he said, they shoot it, they're balanced, they run good stuff. And we've seen glimpses of that today, but overall it's been the Terrapins who've been putting in the points. Dante Scott adds 2 more right there.
And he may be down 30 pounds, but he can still bang around on the inside. Little pretty move there.
Russell Jones Jr. trying to get by Martinez. Gives it to Bernard Pello, who tries the contested 3, and it's no good. Jameer Young with the drive into the paint, puts it up off the backboard. It won't go. Tyjon Claude pulls it down. The drive in and going for the dunk, but stuffed by the rim as Vontarius Woolbright was going in by himself. Foul was called, substitution for Maryland as Jahari Long, Julian Reese back in.
Woolbright saw the lane open, saw the bright lights of Hollywood and the Sports Center top 10 play in his future, and the rim said, I don't think so.
Got a little too excited there. He had the opening and almost had the highlight of the night. So Jahari Long back in the game. Patrick Emilian gives it to Don Carey. Julian Reese. Carey with the drive toward the paint, stuffed, taken away. Jones on the other end. Couple of passes. Russell Jones Jr. defended by Jahari Long. Bounce pass. Nice block by Ian Martinez, but the foul called. Still good defense by Martinez, as that could have been an easy 2 points.
And Martinez's face says it all. He thinks he got the ball clean there, and Martinez has one of the biggest verticals on this team, and couldn't really tell from that angle, but a good roll from Gilmore, and Martinez probably getting a little bit of the ball, a little bit of the hand as well. You can tell he thinks he got all ball, but we clearly see he got some of the hand.
Nonetheless, it sends Marlo Gilmore to the free throw line where he hits his first. This is his first point of the night. He's a senior from Norway, South Carolina, who played 31 games and saw 5 starts as a junior, one of the 4 returners to the Catamounts this year. He played at Dodge City Community College, averaged 9.6 points per game with the Conquistadors of Dodge City Community College before he came to Cullowhee. Don Carey, after a couple of passes, they give it to Long, swinging it around the perimeter. Nice pass back to Ian Martinez. Emilian has the ball, and foul appeared to be called against Marlo Gilmore, and that takes us to the under 12 timeout.
Yeah, the top player in Virginia, Deshaun Harris-Smith, Jamie Kaiser, part of the WCAC before transferring to IMG, and Jonathan Lamont from just up the road from St. Francis, the number 11 recruiting class in the class of 2023. Kevin Willard's bringing in next year.
And Josh, real quick, what do you have to say about the job that Coach Willard is doing already, just taking this role and already really, as Carey almost loses the ball and steps back for the 3 and misses that one. Rebound. Reese knocks it down, and it's going to stay here after the foul called against Jones.
Yeah, going back to your point, I think it says something when a coach comes into an area and immediately starts recruiting and is immediately able to pick up 3 big pieces within the DMV. He's telling everybody in the area, you should want to come play for Maryland. Maryland is back, and I'm going to recruit you to come here.
And so that's exactly what he's been looking to do, and he's already started to do. Also bringing in Jameer Young from Charlotte as he played down the street at DeMatha Catholic.
First DeMatha player to play at Maryland in over 20 years.
Jahari Long puts that one up, and he puts it in. He came with Willard from Seton Hall, like we talked about earlier in the broadcast.
Yeah, and Kevin Willard originally said he's not going to bring anybody from Seton Hall to Maryland, but he said when Jahari popped in the portal, he's just too good of a young man to pass up on. Gave him the opportunity to come to Maryland, and he's eating it up.
So foul called that time. But yeah, Jahari Long said, I was talking about differences with this. Take a look at this. Taking a look at this play right here is Long with that bucket. But I was talking to him about playing at Seton Hall, playing at Maryland, and he said one big thing. They had to jog from campus all the way to Prudential Center when they had a game, practice something, and now they just get to practice here, play here. They get to come here earlier in the day, practice, go back, be able to go back to run back to their apartment in between before the game, and just really liking this whole campus and everything here at Maryland and recognizing its tradition. Woolbright drives, and no dice there. Don Carey trying to drive past Campbell, and a chase down block by Tyler Harris before the foul is called. So it'll be Western Carolina that has it here as
I believe the call was goaltending.
Goaltending,
The ball comes off the glass, still on the rim, and looked like it was Harris who tried to block it away. So credit the basket to Carey, his first of the night.
Looked like Harris might have had the chase down block, but a bit too high above the rim. So Maryland up to 50 points, 22-point lead. And Martinez trying to draw the jump ball, and then Russell Jones Jr. knocks down the tray, his second of the ball game.
Don't let him heat up, ladies and gentlemen. He can score in bunches.
If you get him open, get him some space, we've seen it now twice in which he has knocked it down without any trouble. Julian Reese trying to get around Claude, but officials call him for the foul.
Just looking across at Julian Reese after that play, I believe I saw him mouth, "He can't guard me," which shows you the confidence this young man has. Getting the ball, backing him down, spins around him, and Claude forced to give him a little shove out of bounds and forced the foul.
Interesting he would drive that way, going toward, you're battling with the, you're about to go out of bounds, and look at that discrepancy in foul. Been talking about that a lot throughout the night. 7th already. So that will get Reese back to the stripe. And Julian, 3 of 3 from the line tonight as the Terps have entered the bonus. His second is good as well. And Maryland a 21-point lead.
Puts Julian Reese on 14 points on the night to go along with 7 boards. Very productive evening for the sophomore out of Baltimore.
Absolutely. Now the 3 for the Catamounts, no good. Another rebound to Reese, his 8th.
Officially a double-double watch for Julian Reese, I'd say.
Oh yeah, we're getting closer. Ian Martinez takes it all by himself to get the deuce.
There's the athleticism from Ian Martinez, just showing a little bit of what he can do. Beats his defender off the dribble with some speed, and his head was pretty close to the rim on that layup.
Trey Jackson gives it to Jones. Jones trying to get past Reese. Reese just staying in front of him. Swats it away, and then Granger goes up. Got a little more size to battle Reese, but can't do it that time. Here's Jahari Long as Russell Jones Jr. went down. Maryland brings it back. The and one again. Julian Reese goes right to the rack. The shot, the harm. Another nice play for Reese, who has 16.
Reese doing it on both ends. Here we see a hard screen set on Jones Jr. Nothing illegal about that one. Lays out the 5'8" Russell Jones Jr. and just keeps going, rolls to the rim, draws the contact on Granger. Little spin and a kiss off the glass from the sophomore. Going to the line to finish the 3-point play.
Been a successful night for Julian Reese. He is 5 of 7 from the field and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 9 rebounds for him as well. And he converts that one, 57-31. Vontarius Woolbright directing traffic for the Catamounts. He's going to try and drive into the paint. He's got a couple of defenders on him. He swings it out, and that sails above his bench into the stands, and the basketball is handed back to the Terrapins.
And here's that defense from the Terps again, just absolutely suffering in the paint, and Woolbright forced to make a very difficult cross-court pass, which he throws into the first row.
Here's Long, bringing it against Jones. Martinez pass it to Dante Scott. Hakeem Hart down low. Julian Reese backing him in and gets the deuce. Julian Reese again, 17 points, or 19 points now for the guy they are now calling a lot more juju.
Got some juju to his game tonight.
Sure does. Shifty Jew, I've heard a lot as well. Ian Martinez corrals that one. Reese gives it long for Reese and loses the basketball. It was off of Reese and out of play.
And Julian Reese just couldn't handle it there and maybe should have brought it down and gone up for the layup instead, as we're going to see him check out of the game for Patrick Emilian, and he's going to get a warm ovation from this Maryland crowd.
Julian Reese, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 7 of 9 shooting, perfect 5 of 5 from the charity stripe. Woolbright drives, passes it to Gilmore, and Million with the block, but it's back in the hands of him. No travel called as he was on the floor for a good couple of seconds, and then the foul ends up being called against, I believe, Ian Martinez.
Yeah, it's a Million's third block of the night. Good defense, and then just a little bit of scrappiness. Terps looking to pick up the ball, but a foul called.
And like we touched on earlier, Coach Willard said that he really wants him to be more physical down low, and that's exactly what he's been doing tonight, just driving right against Tyjon Claude and continually finding success. So the ball knocked out of bounds. And they'll take it underneath. Jackson triggers it to Woolbright, who gives it back to Trey Jackson over Martinez. And now Dante Scott trying to push it. 2-on-1. Martinez to Scott. The dunk! There it is from Dante Scott. We've been waiting for it all night, and the senior throws it down. Catamounts try to work quickly on the other end. Jackson driving around long, the mid-range, no good, but the foul called. Here we go.
My goodness, transition play. Ian Martinez up to Dante Scott. Scream from the top of your lungs like you're on top of the Empire State Building, my friend, because you got up there.
Dante Scott just takes flight, sees the opening, and a perfect pass from Martinez. Trey Jackson hits his first free throw. That emphatic Scott dunk opened a 30-point lead for the Terrapins. Jackson's second is good. Jahari Long passes it to Hart. 7 minutes left about in the second half. Dante Scott goes up, gets the foul, and will go to the line for 2. That is the 21st foul committed by Western Carolina tonight.
They're biting on every little fake Terps are giving them. This time it's Dante Scott with a little pump fake. Unlucky to get the N1, but goes to the line for 2.
So Dante Scott finally starting to get it going there. He misses the first of his 2 free throws. Ike Cornish back in from Maryland. Along with Jameer Young is Martinez and Long check out. Scott hits the second. He's got 7 points on the night. Hakeem Hart with 9, and then Jameer Young with 16. And obviously Julian Reese leading the way with 19 now. Here's Vontarius Woolbright, the swing out to Marcus Kell, the 3 airballed, and that's gonna get the airball chance from the crowd here at Xfinity Center. Hakeem Hart, bounce pass to Patrick Emilion, backing in Claude, and Tyjon Claude with a nice block, the first block for the Catamounts tonight. Woolbright, the swing out to Marcus Kell. The airball chance, he'll hear him. Russell Jones Jr. against Jameer Young. Tyjon Claude puts it up and won't go, grabs his own miss. Emilion trying to stand tall, but not tall enough as Claude weasels his way in there and gets the 2 points.
Yeah, good work from Claude on the inside, just muscling his way around to his spot and gets it up for deuce.
Jameer Young to Hart. And there's the foul on Marcus Kell.
And here's the work from Emilion, and Claude standing tall, forcing Emilion away from the bucket. Kind of throws up a circus shot and gets blocked, and Kevin Willard talking to Jameer Young about something. He was not very happy with Jameer Young after that play.
So Hakeem Hart heads to the line. And he misses the front end. Hakeem Hart, we're talking about this a couple of times, but a 4-year player here at Maryland has really grown a lot during that time.
Grown in his game and grown physically as well. 2 seasons ago, grew from 6'6" to 6'8", so last season was really about trying to figure out his body, get used to being that big and playing as a 3 or a 4 instead of a 2 and a 3, and now this season looking to grow, average double digits, average just under that last year.
Russell Jones Jr. drives, tries to go against the tallest guy on the floor. The shortest guy on the floor comes up unsuccessful. Terrapin's on the other end. Ike Cornish sends inside, puts in the layup. Western Carolina works quickly in transition. Jones, the pass inside to Claude Woolbright. Foul called on Ike Cornish. Woolbright was just trying to drive, and then Cornish called for the foul, his second, and the 11th overall for the Terps today.
And here's the play on the fast break. Jameer Young finds Ike Cornish, had 2 options, right and left. Terps doing well running the floor.
So just had another quick fast pace coast to coast on both ends, and now slowing them a bit. Catamounts at the line. Vontarius Woolbright makes it a 30-point game. Here's Jameer Young. Scott tried to set a screen. Now Ike Cornish will take it. Scott almost lost it, tried to send it behind the back toward Young. And so the Catamounts are going to have it as we have some substitutions here. Noah Batchelor back on the floor as Scott checks out of the ball game.
Yeah, Dante Scott running into our cameraman Tommy down there, and Tommy's up and back into his chair now, but that's a hefty load to be catching in your lap.
It absolutely is. Good for Tommy, still staying strong. Here we go. Driving against Cornish. Reese down there as well, and the ball ends up right in Reese's mitts. Jameer Young gets around Jackson, no foul. Noah Batchelor tries an open 3 and just too strong. Cornish the board, drives hard into the paint. Jackson goes flying across the floor. And they end up calling the foul on Cornish.
And Kevin Willard, although his team is up by 30 now, very upset with that call, saying the defender maybe didn't get in spot. And important to note as well in this fast-paced franticness of this game as we see this call on Ike Cornish. Maybe a little unlucky there, a 50-50 call, but as this game has gotten up to a frantic pace, Julian Reese has got his 10th and 11th rebound. That's a double-double for the sophomore.
You said the double-double watch was on, and Julian Reese again passing the test.
To be fair, I said the double-double watch was on when he had 8 rebounds with 8 minutes left in this game. I think it was pretty safe to say he was going to get 2 more rebounds.
Especially with the way he's been playing, trying to add a block to it, but instead it's Tyjon Claude adding a dunk. Claude now in double figures with 10. Here's Reese. Gives it to Cornish. Ike Cornish 4-3. No good, and Julian Reese, what a pass by him to Martinez. Julian Reese, what an assist you'll see right there from him, really doing everything today.
As we see a host of substitutions, including Callum Swanton-Roger, the freshman from Canada.
Jahari Long, Noah Batchelor, Ike Cornish, Ian Martinez, and Callum Swanton-Roger, the 5 for Kevin Willard. Claude driving against several Terrapins, and foul ends up being called on the...
I believe they're going to call 3 seconds on that one as it's suffering defense from the Terps on the inside. Swanton-Roger doing a good job of staying tall.
Absolutely, as the Terrapins clogged it in the paint that time, forcing him to go nowhere other than camping out in the paint for a while, and it results in yet another turnover, number 17 for the Catamounts. Noah Batchelor with the three. About time we had one of those tonight, as Batchelor knocks it down.
Yeah, and he ran right by us with a big smile on his face. He's a shooter. IMG's head coach said that he's one of the best shooters that he's ever coached, and Batchelor showing no hesitation to pull the trigger right there.
Batchelor played at IMG, but is originally from Frederick, Maryland, and there's a three-pointer from Tyler Harris. But about Batchelor, he also played at Glenelg Country up in Howard County before going down to Florida to play at IMG, and then came here to Maryland as Ian Martinez's three misses, rebounded by Claude. So here's Jones. Pass over to Woolbright. He loses the basketball, chasing it out of bounds and saved, but into the hands of Cornish. Jahari Long to Noah Batchelor. Can he do it again? He just misses. Nice rebound from Russell Jones Jr. Defended by Batchelor, and foul called. And so that one on Callum Swanton-Roger. As a couple of substitutions, Marcus Kell back in the game for Western Carolina, along with Bernard Pello.
Yeah, and there's Noah Batchelor's three. There's that smile that ran right by us here at our commentator's table. He's loving life here in College Park. You can just tell he likes being home. And
so the first free throw, good from Tyjon Claude. And the second free throw is good. Pablo Zuba on the court for the Terrapins. A fan favorite toward the end of last season, the Kiev, Ukraine native.
And a fun fact about Zuba, when he came into college, he originally went to Arizona State. He was the youngest player in all of college basketball. To put that in some perspective, you see a steal here from Jones.
And Jones against Young goes up and gets the foul. Not Young, that was Jahari Long on the defense.
Yeah, and Jones doing well with some scrappiness. But going back to the point on Zuba, youngest player in college basketball when he came in, as we see the good work from Jones to draw the foul. But Zuba was born in 2003. He is listed as a junior on Maryland's roster. Some of the incoming freshmen across the country were born in 2003. That is how young this young man is.
So how old was he when he was at Arizona State again?
He was 17 years old when he originally arrived at Arizona State. Played at Barcelona's U18 team for the 2019-20 season and was the youngest player in all of college basketball for the 2020-21 season.
Wow. Russell Jones Jr. hits his second. 2 minutes left in the second half here. And Kevin Willard's second game as head coach. Batchelor loses it. And Campbell will take it the other way. A three from Kell is good. Marcus Kell hits the sixth three-pointer of the day for Western Carolina. They're going to try for yet another, and rims out. Nice rebound from Callum Swanton-Roger.
Yeah, there's a little bit of sloppiness coming in from this Terps combined second/third unit right now.
Cornish gives it back to Long. And was trying to get it to Swanton-Roger, but before that, foul called. Callum Swanton-Roger, the 6'11 center, is a freshman from Calgary, Alberta. And he is the first Canadian to play for Maryland basketball since Justin Jackson, who is from Toronto. As is, they have another Canadian on this roster with Patrick Emilian, a native of Toronto. And he played at Western Michigan and St. Francis before that. Jahari Long's free throw here is good. 25 points is the lead. So Josh, when you're Kevin Willard, takeaways from this game, what's the biggest thing?
I think the biggest thing is your defense. Allowing 15 points in the first half. I know they've allowed now 33 here in the second half, so not as great as you'd like to see it, but the defensive effort from this team has been awesome, and you can't ignore the performance from Julian Reese. Kevin Willard has to be ecstatic with what he's done tonight.
The two arguably biggest players of the team is Bachelor trying to get something going. You have Dante Scott, your senior, four-year player, all of that, like we've said. Long puts it up. It's a bit too long. Rebounded by Kell. And then you have Jameer Young, your point guard, transfer coming in, and both them shine tonight. Kell knocks down his second three-pointer.
Kell, no hesitation to pull the trigger as he is now up to 8 points on the night.
Marcus Kell, the 6'8 forward, scored more than 1,500 points at Legion Collegiate Academy. So Maryland is just gonna dribble this ball out. Jahari Long standing next to his coach at Seton Hall, who is now his coach in College Park. And the Terrapins, a 20-point victory in their second game of the season. Maryland, 71, Western Carolina, 51.